Hola, Minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. How's everybody doing today? It's another jumbo size edition. It's always going to be a jumbo size edition. Let's face it, One Piece is just too big. It's just too big, so it's always going to be a jumbo size edition. But in the last set of chapters, we had a big time fight. Luffy finally broke free and is now fighting Arlong. Nami had got over herself after smelling her armpits. Is that what happened? Yeah, right? Yeah, that's what happened last time. She smelled her armpits. Ooh, excuse me. Excuse me, because that was pretty funny knowing that she was smelling her armpits before she went back out. Oh, man. Luffy finally broke free with the help of Nojiko and Genzo from his own stupidity. And Sanji and Zolo are basically beaten up within an inch of their lives and doing fine and everything. They're all chilling. But out of commission. Usopp, of course, got his little victory and is now hiding behind a wall and sticking his thumb out through the hole like a I don't even know how to describe that. Like a 1970s variety hour show where they like to stick their heads out and do jokes and such. That's him in a nutshell. The fight ain't over yet. It's still not over yet because Arlong has now unleashed his ultimate one-winged angel move, in which he now is carrying his own teeth, like like a crab. All of a sudden, he became a crab basically with his own teeth. So let's see how Luffy's going to handle that situation and come up with some very inventive moves. So let's get reading. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 91, Darts. Luffy stood before Arlong as he dropped his fishman shield from the chomping sharpness of Arlong's dismembered teeth held within the fishman's hands. Arlong was in total shock at what had happened and screamed out, "How dare you use one white man as a shield? Hey, dude, you attacked us first. That's not righteous. I know. You really ought to bend over and die." Usopp was shocked and with his puckered lips and bloodied face. "Jeez, Luffy, you scared us. We need you to be alive." Johnny and Yosaku with the townspeople and Nami watched on in shock. "Luffy has no idea," Yosaku said. "What is it? What is it?" To which Sanji, chilling on the side, says, "Has he found the key to victory?" And suddenly, Arlong dashes at Luffy for the attack. "Tues attack!" With the sound of chomp chomps all over from the teeth as he continues to snip his hands. And Luffy jumped and dodged and rolled and slid and doing all sorts of weird rubbery ways to avoid everything. Dude, dude, dude. Luffy's face became turned to anger. His teeth clenched, and he delivered a kick to the face. Wah! Arlong screamed out as he felt the impact of Luffy's chancla pressing into his left cheek. When Arlong dropped to the ground, his set of choppers swooned away from him, and Luffy smiled. "I did it, dude." To which Arlong wiped the blood off his face and said, "Don't you know that my teeth are unbreakable?" Ah. Arlong flexed his teeth as they shimmied and shivered. The crowd screamed out, "Luffy, Luffy, are you nuts? That was your big idea? The crowd screamed out. To which then, oh, ew, what the, what the heck is he doing here? To which Luffy took Arlong's teeth and and stuck it into his mouth, uh, connected to his own teeth, and chomped down on it. Look, dude, I have shark teeth too. To which Johnny and Yosaku dropped their mouths in horror to the sound of ooh. And they both said some key to victory at the same time. Arlong delivered a punch, delivered a slice with his shark teeth, with his own teeth, screaming out, "How dare you mock me? Dude." Luffy stumbled back and fell to the ground as blood gushed out of his chest. Dude, I've been beaten by a fish. Not cool. To which Johnny Osaku screamed out, "That's what you get for fooling around!" But and Luffy replied back to the sound of chomping, "I'm not fooling around, dudes," as he nursed his gushing wound on the chest. Arlong suddenly came at him with another tooth attack, and Luffy grabbed the concrete once more, messing around with the concrete, and used it as a shield. However, the impact of Arlong's chompers broke it into pieces to the sound of Luffy's and then he dodged again and fell to the ground. Then he got slapped. Then he left an opening in which Arlong was able to deliver an easy strike, and Luffy was knocked back to the sound of Arlong's laughing. And with that opening, Arlong chomped with his right hand into Luffy's belly. "Yow, dude! The head to hurt!" Yosaku screamed out. "Grah, dudes!" Luffy yelped in pain. And without hesitation, he immediately chomped into Arlong's shoulder. Wah! Wah! They split off from each other. Arlong immediately nursed his shoulder, while Luffy nursed his belly as he collapsed to the ground. "Dude, how's it feel being bitten by your own teeth? It hurts, doesn't it? Next time I'm going for the balls." "They may be my teeth, but your jaws are weak. A shark's teeth are dead weak because its jaw muscles have the strength to bite wool," Arlong explained, while he removed his teeth from his shoulder. "Flesh and bone!" And almost immediately, Arlong chomped into Luffy's right arm, piercing into his elbow and reaching to the bone. "God, dude!" Luffy felt the pain. To which Johnny Osaku screamed out, "No, he'll bite off his arms!" And Arlong smiled as he slowly closed closed his mouth, and Luffy screamed out again, "Ah, dude!" And then he immediately used his left hand, his freed hand, to strike Arlong and push him with all his force down, with his right arm, and then slammed Arlong's head in. "Whoa!" Arlong screamed out, causing him to open his mouth from the pain and freeing Luffy from his grasp. As Arlong laid flat on the side of the pool, Luffy immediately pushed himself away and tumbled over to the debris. To create some distance. "Are you okay, Luffy?" Usopp said, peering out from the wall. "If he'd taken one step back," Genzo said, "he would have lost that arm." "I doubt that he knew." Sanji said, "It had to be dumb luck." Arlong started rubbing the back of his head, feeling the pain, to the sound of ooh. He looked at the blood on the palm of his hands to the sound of ooh, and blood poured out of his mouth to the sound of ooh. The taunting from the wind pissed him off. Luffy got up to his feet and removed the teeth from his rib cage. He looked up and saw that Arlong was gone. Huff, dude, huff. Huh? Dude, where'd he go? I guess I won. Luffy, he's in the water! Usopp screamed out, and Luffy looked into the pool. The water? And there it was. Jaws just slurping about to the sound of ooh. Hey, dude, it's a shark. It's Arlong, you idiot! And he looked at the pool water and it made a gurgling sound. What? He went under? Well, that's not righteous. I can't do water. And as he stared at the dribbling gurgle, Arlong looked up from beneath the surface and seeing Luffy staring at the ripples. Nobody can beat me in the water. I'm even faster than my own element. Did he escape? Oh my gosh. Luffy leaned over. Did he need to do that? Well, using his hand as over his brow to be able to focus his sight. Shark. And because of that, he left himself wide open to Arlong's attack. Shark darts! And Arlong jumped out of the water with his nose aimed, striking Luffy and knocking him to the side. Wow, dude! And Luffy flew into the air and, as Arlong shot up into the second floor and crashed through the wall. What was that? Usopp screamed out as he watched Luffy fall back down to the ground. Everybody was in shock. A torpedo, Genzo said, as everyone started freaking out at Luffy slowly floating in the air, ready to crash into the ground. Yosaku screamed out, Arlong came out of the water! And as Luffy landed headfirst into the concrete to the sound of, dude. Blood started gushing out of his guts and pouring all over the floor. Ooh! The building taunted Luffy. Ooh! The building cheered on Arlong as the Shark Man looked right down below. You withstood my attack, but that just means your torment continues. He smiled as his saw nose sheened. Shark darts! He dove right down head first at Luffy. Luffy was able to dodge out of the way as Arlong shanked the concrete. Ha, dude! Luffy looked in horror at what at what Arlong had done. Sanji screamed out, He really is unbreakable! That stinking shark! Dude, he's got his nose in the ground, stuck in the ground. My man looked like a lawn dart, indeed. when Oda said shark dart, he really lives up to that name. As Arlong planked the air with his nose piercing into the concrete, his eyes shifted over in Luffy's direction with a big smile on his face. Shark darts! And he jumped right at Luffy, again toppling the captain over and piercing his body to the sound of ooh. He flew back again and struck Luffy, sending him back into the air. Ooh. The building continued to taunt, and Luffy landed on the ground with blood spilling all over the place. Usopp screamed out, "Luffy, hide! Arlong's back in the water!" Brother! Brother Luffy, you'll have to retreat, Usaku screamed out from the crowd. No, dude. It's not righteous. What are you doing? Sanji said. He's gonna attack again. Run! No way, dude. And the wind went, ooh. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna knock him out, and he's gonna feel the power of righteousness. Meanwhile, Arlong floated under the water, looking at the ripple and waiting for Luffy to do something. Luffy just stood there with a scowling face. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Chapter 92. Happiness. The building taunted Luffy as he stood by the pool staring at the ripple on the surface of the water. Ooh. Come on, dude. You lousy shark. You got guts, human, Arlong said. Or have you given up? He wondered as he waited for Luffy to do something stupid to make the next strike. Usopp yelled out, Don't you understand what hide means, Luffy? You're taking the full force of his attacks. If he hits you again, you're doomed. To which then Luffy squatted. He interlocked his fingers, one with the palm facing inward, the other facing outward. And he screamed out, Gun, gun, shield. What's that? Yosaku said. Does he think that will protect him? Johnny said. Johnny screamed out. And Luffy started stretching his fingers. Wow, that's very interesting. So, that's very interesting. Wow. Arlong made his move. I'm going twice as fast this time. I'll skewer him. His worth was hard. Shark! And as he surfaced, screaming out, Darts! He landed. He connected with Luffy's shield. Brother Luffy's hit! Yosaku screamed down. And Luffy, wow. And Luffy held on to Arlong as he smiled at the tip of the shark nose spear. He smiled and laughed as he looked at Arlong's scowling face as the blade slipped through Luffy's fingers. Together they flew into the building of Arlong Park to the sound of boing as Luffy launched himself into the air and left Arlong crashing into the debris. Dude, what happened? Usopp looked up in the air. Is he dead? No, he bounced back. Luffy stuck himself to the side of the wall and laughed. Haha, dude, you're finished. That trick's not gonna work on me. Shark darts! Ugh. Arlong shot out from underneath the building through the ceiling and knocked Luffy off the side of the wall. As he spun around from the strike, he saw Arlong flying straight up in the air. Arlong stopped mid-flight and stretched out his arms and legs. You can't escape me. You got lucky, you dirty scoundrel, Luffy said as he tumbled backwards. You caught me by surprise. But this will finish you, Arlong said as he dove down. Get ready. Luffy planted his hands behind his head, and he intertwined his fingers like a weaved basket. Gun, gun. And then he stretched his fingers out. Finger net. I'm going fishing, dudes. Luffy caught Arlong in the net. Wow. And flew with him. His fingers started spreading over and interlocking with each other. He slapped his chanclas, the sole of his chanclas together as he was upside down, using all of his force. And spear. He immediately slammed his feet into Arlong's guts and pushed him right into the concrete ground. As the debris shot up in the air, Arlong gasped and screamed out, "Gah!" and blood gushed out of his mouth. "Hey!" Usopp yelled out. "It worked!" Yosaku screamed as everyone cheered. "Huh? Dude." Luffy noticed something strange. "Is he dead?" Arlong was unmoving to the sound of "ooh," when suddenly his eyes turned into cat's eyes, to the sound of ka-ching. "Arlong looks different," Nojiko screamed out. "That's how the fishmen look when they go berserk. Luffy's attack only enraged him," Sanji pointed out as Arlong was getting ready to make his next move. "Oh, I've never seen eyes like that before." Nami looked in horror as Arlong grabbed Luffy by the hair and stretched his whole body out around like a rubber band. "You are human, an inferior creature," Arlong said to Luffy's, dude, "and I'm a mighty fishman." He began, wow. That is one gruesome drawing. He turned Luffy into the Scream and started flipping his whole body around like a rubber band to the sound of, "You pay for this." And he flicked Luffy right into the wall with full force, debris tumbling all over the captain's body. "Hey, you caught me off guard again, dude. I'm not hurt, but he sure is mad." And Arlong dashed right at him. "Eek, dude!" to the sound of "ooh." The enraged berserker fishman charged at him, and with his hands he pressed into the wall and created a shockwave of damage. Whoa! Luffy was able to jump up and clutch the windowsill above and pull his legs up. He smiled as a wall broke into pieces, and his hand and Arlong clutched his hand into the sword on the other side of the wall. He ripped it out and presented a very large serrated blade as Luffy held on to the windowsill upside down. "Dude, what's that?" To which Yosaku screamed out, It's a giant saw." "Ah, that's his shark saw." His shark saw. It was 5 serrated blades of shark teeth bounded together by a hilt, each and every one of them sharper than the next. He jumped up in the air and pulled back on the blade. He swung as Luffy immediately jumped to the side. "Wah, dude." Using that momentum, Arlong was able to flip his body again, and one right after another with each strike, he cartwheeled at Luffy as the captain dodged every single strike. "Ow, dude, ow." The crowd screamed out, "Arlong's relentless, Luffy's losing." "Ugh, dude, huff." Luffy found his back to the wall, right next to a window. He noticed it, and just as Arlong swung right at him, Luffy crashed through, screaming, "Ugh, dude," as the glass began piercing him even more. "He's fled into the building!" Sanji screamed out. "Ah, on the top floor, the room on the left, the chart room," she said. And Arlong walked his way through the window. Stay out my way, Little Woman. Dude, what is this place? And all this paper. He noticed maps and charts, all sorts of supplies and ink. This isn't just paper, Arlong said, as Luffy sat casually and calmly looking at the whole entire room. These are charts. Nami spent the last 8 years drawing them. Fishmen are excellent at gathering oceanic data, but without a good cartographer, it's worthless. No one in the world can draw such accurate maps. Nami's a genius. Arlong smiled. And Luffy, just observing the whole entire room, replied, I see, dude. And he's looking at the desk where Nami sat and drew the maps for him. There's nothing more tragic and stupid than wasting one's gifts. Luffy stretched down, took the pen, and brought it back to him. This pen has blood on it, he said, without even looking at Arlong in the eyes. Drawing charts for me allows Nami to do the thing she loves best, and soon I will achieve my ambition. Arlong immediately shifted his blade and placed Luffy's neck between the edges. Once we have charts of all the world's oceans, nothing can stop the fishmen. The whole world will be my kingdom. This island is the stepping stone to the East Blue. I see, dude. Think you can use that goil as well as I can, I do? Luffy placed the blood-stained pen, placed the pen stained with Nami's blood on the floor. He took the sword in the hand as Arlong wondered what he was going to do. What? My saw won't move? And Luffy slowly cracked the edges of the blade to the sound of crack, crack. And his only response was, used. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 93, Going Down. Luffy slowly broke apart a piece of the saw blade that Arlong held to his neck. He was shocked. My shark saw, he said, to which Luffy, with furious anger and bulging veins, said, what do you think, dude? That Nami is anyway. She's an excellent cartographer, even if she is an inferior species. Compared to the rest of human vermin, she's quite intelligent. She's rather like a spirited kitten, a charming one, a nice little cat. Don't you like cats? Arlong raised his fist up and continued with his point. Nami will continue to draw sea charts for me in my room forever. I'll feed her. I'll buy her all the beautiful clothes she wants. She will want for nothing. All she has to do is the thing she loves best. After all, we're shipmates. Arlong's presence was horrifying. Meanwhile, outside, everyone was wondering, what's happened to Luffy? What's going on up there? That's a weird cutaway panel. Inside, Arlong screams, "What?" and Luffy kicks the desk down. It broke out of the wall and flew into the air. Hey, what's that? Johnny Usaku asked as they watched the furniture fly out of the air, and Usopp's eyes bulged as a fly entered his mouth. It was a desk, and it was flying through the air. Sanji noticed. It's a desk! Oh. Yeah, it's just a desk. But for Nami, her eyes trembled. Phew, I was afraid it was Luffy, Yosaku said, as her mind wandered. Yes, partner, don't you have any faith in him? And there it was, breaking apart, shattering into pieces. Nami realized what she was looking at as her eyes glazed in horror. What? I thought the same thing, Johnny, Yosaku said in the background. No way! I thought it was Arlong! Nami paid no attention to what they were saying. She knew what had happened. Inside, Luffy continued shattering everything in there, breaking the furniture, the cabinets, tearing up the charts. Blast you! Arlong screamed out. What are you doing? And once again with full force, the cat the charts um, started falling down, and Luffy uh, and uh, uh, and Nami just stood there quietly. Ah, Luffy. And he delivered another kick and another, one right after another. Furniture just started raining down from Arlong Park. Hey, what's that stuff coming down? Usopp tried to figure out what's going on, but Nami knew. Nami knew as she remembered what Arlong said to her when she was 10 years old, after being kidnapped against her will. This will be your room from now on. Your desk, your pens. Everything you need is right here. And she watched every single furniture fall into the ground, fall into the water. It was just raining paper all over the place. Luffy screamed out, "You lousy jerk!" as he dodged Arlong's swing of the saw blade. And once he swung, and once he missed Luffy, he accidentally struck all the charts that Nami made. Blast! My charts! He watched the pages ripped into pieces. Luffy continued on, destroying more stuff. Dude, he screamed as he delivered more force. My sea charts! Arlong screamed out. As he remembered what he had done to Nami when he pressed her 10-year-old face right into the desk with full force. You nasty girl! You can't fool me! You drew this chart wrong on purpose! Ah! She screamed out as more debris rained down from below. And there Nami stood as he dropped a whole bunch of books in front of her. Here's new information. Now get quacking on those charts, and don't leave this room until you're done. Got that? Arlong, remembering all the work he went through tormenting Ami, being undone, immediately grabbed Luffy by the neck and squeezed hard. Curse you! You're destroying 8 years of Nami's work. Act it. Outside Arlong Park, all the charts, shredded to pieces, began raining down like snow. And as Nami remembered, as Nami remembered being lurched over the desk, crying for her mother and sister. Ach, belle mia, no chico. The laughter of Arlong echoing in her memories. Meanwhile, Luffy used all his strength to deliver another punch into the cabinet of charts. God, dude, and more debris flew out of the room and rained down below. That's some fight! Johnny screamed out as Nami remained silent. Tears began to well up, and it fell down her face as she covered her mouth. All she could think was, "Oh, thank you." Usopp screamed out from the wall. What is it? What's going on? It's over, Sanji replied and answered Usopp. You sealed your fate, Wubber boy. Arlong chomped into Luffy's neck and shoulder blade, pressing down hard. God, dude. I don't care how great the fishmen are, Luffy said as he clutched his hands onto Arlong's sharp serrated nose, and pierced the palm of his hands. I don't care about sea charts or any of that. That stuff doesn't mean anything, dude. But I finally figured out how to save her. and he slowly pulled and wow, and Luffy with all his strength, with all his might, broke Arlong's nose to the side. It was he left it in a 90-degree angle, and it caused Arlong to break free Luffy up from his clutches. Arg! Arlong screamed out. The problem is this room. She hated being stuck here. I'm gonna smash it to smithereens. Huh? Arlong was in shock, and Luffy threw his leg up into the air. Gun, gun! And it flew very high in the sky, shattering the rooftop of Arlong Park as high as it could go. Arlong straightened out his nose with his hand, with his bare hand. Get away from those sharks, you puny human! No puny human can bring down Arlong Park. Shark! And he opened his mouth as Luffy saw that he didn't have enough time to react. To drill! And with all his strength, with all his might, with the grit of his teeth and the strain of his neck, and the sound of woo as Arlong's teeth closed in on him, Luffy screamed out, "Battle Axe!" And as Arlong chomped his teeth into Luffy's belly, and Luffy's eyes rolled back, he flung his foot straight down onto Arlong's back. Arlong screamed, and blood gushed out of his mouth, and the floor cracked, spreading across the floor, across the tiles. And Luffy, using all the momentum of his battle axe, screaming out, "God, dude!" And momentum of his attack suddenly caused the entirety of the building to crack all over the place. What's going on? The Johnny screamed out as everybody watched with mouths agape at what they were witnessing. Arlong Park was beginning to crumble, and Arlong himself crashed through every single floor with Luffy's foot pushing down into him. And when his foot returned to the sound of a snap, Luffy dropped down on the floor, taking deep breaths. Huff, dude, huff, huff. And Arlong laid down with his chest pressed in and his eyes rolled back. And that's when debris started plopping off of Luffy's head. Look, the shock was too much, the crowd screamed out. Arlong Park, this is crazy, it's gonna collapse. Watch out, everybody, get back. Nami, come on, they screamed out as Nami ran towards the building. But Luffy's still in there. And the whole building fell to pieces. Luffy! Nami screamed out as Arlong Park came to a close for business. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 94, The Other Villain. Arlong Park collapsed into pieces. Debris and dust lifted up into the air, reaching as high as the sky can allow it. What the? Oh my gosh. Okay. Zolo is still sleeping, nursing to his wounds, to the sound of honk, snort. And the sound of woo suddenly woke him up as the large chunk of debris landed on his stomach. Ugh! He lifted his head up, nursing his wound, and shaking his head as vein bulged out of his temple. What's going on? What's all the racket? Who disturbed my slumber? And there it was, the townspeople all watching Arlong Park completely and shattered, tumbled, and razed to the ground. Arlong Park's in ruins, the crowd said. Whoa. What happened in there? Who won? Sanji said as he floated in the water with Nojiko and Genzo. With everything destroyed, you don't think. Luffy! And punched in the debris, made the sound of a and rising out from the ashes was Luffy with the sun shining off his shoulder to the sound of doom. Ah, Luffy! Nami smiled. And Johnny and Yosaku screamed out, "Whoa, whoa, yeah!" Blood poured down Luffy's shoulders and dripped off the edge of his knuckles. Is he all right? Usopp said, and Luffy took a long, deep breath. Nami! He screamed out, and everybody listened on, as did Nami. You're one of us now! He screamed out with a vein bulging out of out of his cheek and blood pouring out of his nose. And Arlong laid there completely knocked out, unable to move. Blood, covered in blood, dripping, and his teeth broken, unable to reform, and his nose snapped in a 90-degree angle. And Nami, completely in tears, nodded. Uh-huh. He won! He did it, Nojiko! He won! Sanji dove at her with a hug, but she immediately jumped to the side. Mr. Genzo! It's like a dream. I never thought I'd see this day. And the crowd screamed out, Arlong Park has fallen! Hooray! And everybody danced in the streets, jumping, hugging, smiling, crying. And Luffy, he let out his trademark cheesy smile. Hehehe, dude, we're righteous. To which suddenly, someone screamed out from the background, disrupting the celebration. Hold everything. Nyak, 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 nyak. Oh, it's him. Nami pointed out. It was Nezumi with his mouse-like hat with the word marine, smiling all happily at what has happened. It's my lucky day, Mo. I saw the whole thing. Well done. It could have been a fluke, but somehow you two big pirates defeated the fishman. Now thanks to you, the gold I was supposed to give to Arlong and all the treasure in Arlong Park are mine. Nyak, 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 nyak. Throw your weapons. Throw down your weapons. Your valiant deeds will go on the record of Captain Nezumi of Navy Unit 816. Nyak, 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 nyak. And the townspeople screamed out in terror. Oh. No, it wasn't the townspeople who were screaming out in terror. It was the Marines. They all screamed in terror as Zolo immediately clutched Nezumi and made him scream, "Ah! Zolo!" Usopp screamed out, "We're celebrating our victory here," Zolo said with a vein bulging out of his forehead. And the aura of "I'm going to kill you. Do not be a wet blanket," he said. And Nezumi and the Marines laid on the ground with broken teeth and busted noses and blood covering their faces. Nezumi, in total pain, said, "You better not mess with me. Yeah, yeah, I'll make you regret it, Mo." He still doesn't get it, Sanji said as he scratched his hair, and Usopp, Luffy, and Zolo watched on to make sure they don't make any wrong moves. Nah. And out of nowhere, Nami planted Luffy's hat back onto his head and walked past him and crouched before Nezumi. "Ah, this is for sure the nautical, and the wrecking bell me as Tangerine Grove," she said as he caressed Nezumi's cheek while holding onto her power pole. And she delivered a hard swinging strike with her power pole, breaking Nezumi's cheek. The Marine screamed out, "Captain!" as they watched him slide across the ground. And Nami stared him down with furious anger.
"Thank you, Nami. I feel better now,"
Nojiko said. "Hit him 1,000 times more. Double tap him. End the bloodline," Genzo said. "Gasp!" Nezumi said as he lifted himself out of the water.
Now you guys are going to clean up these fishermen and help you repaired Gosa, and you don't get any of the treasure of Arlong Park,"
she said as she pulled his rat mustache.
"That money belongs to the people of this island. And one more thing. Whatever you say, nyak, nyak, nyak. Give me back my money. Okay, more. I won't forget this, you rotten pirates. Nyak, nyak, nyak. You're in the straw hat. You said your name was Luffy. I'll make sure you get beaten up. Nyak, nyak, nyak.
Oh, so you're the captain. Wait, who's speaking? Okay, it's still Nezumi.
"So you're the captain. Nyak, nyak, nyak. Remember this. You've incurred my wrath. Nyak, nyak, nyak. Now something terrible will happen to you. I'll pay you back in spades. Mark my words."
Nezumi swam out with his pirates out into the open sea. "He says something terrible's going to happen." "How did he know about me becoming king of the pirates, though?" Luffy tilted his head. "That's not it, you idiot," Zolo replied. "Hey, what do we do if something terrible really does happen?" Usopp pointed out as they watched the Marines escape. Who would imagine would be saved by pirates? You never know. And immediately everyone screamed out, "Come on, everybody, we shouldn't be celebrating all by ourselves. Let's tell everyone now the good news. Arlong Park's been destroyed." And a parade of happy, freed people completely charged through the island. Meanwhile, hours later, at Belmir's grave.
"It's all over, Belmir. It took 8 years, but finally everybody's free. Mr. Genzo, Nojiko." "Huh? If Belmir was still alive, do you think she would have stopped me from becoming a pirate?"
"I'm sure she wouldn't have wanted her precious daughter to join those sea wolves."
"Of course not,"
they replied.
"Would you have listened if she tried to stop you?" "Bleh."
Nami stuck her tongue out with a little smile.
"Absolutely not."
Arg! Zolo screamed out in pain. "They're still at it!" Sanji said as he started smoking again, as Usopp chilled underneath the palm tree, and the townspeople started the recovery efforts. "Yeah, but it'd take a normal person 2 years to recover." Usopp looked up at the sky, nice and calm. It's crazy. It's crazy to know that he can even move. That idiot." Sanji took a long puff of his smoke. "That's some good menthol." "Your name, Scout," the doctor said. "Trying to fix such a serious injury yourself? Is there a doctor on your ship?" "Oh, a doctor? Dude, that would be nice. But a musician should come first, right?" "Why a musician?" "Well, pirates sing, don't they?" "You have no sense of priorities." Ha 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 ha. Genzo laughed as he walked with Nojiko through the grove.
"Why are you laughing, Mr. Genzo?"
"I can't help it. There's no doubt about it. You're Belmir's daughter, all right." Meanwhile, back at Naval Base Unit 16. "Hello? Hello, Navy HQ.
"HQ, this is Captain Nesmi, nyak, 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 MC 70733 of Unit 16. I have a request."
You You don't have to shout. I can hear you. Nezumi screamed out through the. Oh wow! Screamed through. Oh, so this is the telesnail. Okay, that's what they look like in manga form, huh? Oh, that's cool. As Nezumi spoke through the telesnail.
Do you hear me, Mo? The pirate Luffy who wears a straw hat. Nyah, nyah, nyah. And his 4 henchmen.
Navy HQ telesnail. That's such a man. Such inventiveness.
Should be considered enemies of the state.
Luffy and over at Navy HQ Information Office, the receiver is writing down the message.
Considering how dangerous these marauders are, we must put a price on that, Captain said.
Yes, sir.
I'm sending you a picture of the man now.
And he looked over at his subordinate.
Couldn't you have taken a better picture?
Did my best, sir. After confirming the facts, I'll request approval from General Staff. The operator sat on the other side. We'll get this straight.
Well, get this straight. He's a vicious pirate. I want him dead, Mo. Dead or alive. Send out worldwide all points bulletin for his head.
Oh, there's Usopp. I couldn't see it in the live action. I'll explain, but that's cool. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 95. Spin Pinwheel. Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel. Spin that wheel. The half moon shined bright over the island, reflecting off of the seawater nearby the beach. Night fell at last, and the sea was calm once more. The whole island celebrated that night, everyone dancing to accordions and singing and hugging and drinking away all that they had suffered from, and continued on through the following night. Everyone was living for the moment. They were just so full of jubilee, so in relief that the nightmare was over. Everyone lived to laugh. Luffy was enjoying his meat. Oh, dude. Boy, did I eat sometimes. It's good to do nothing but eat, Sanji said as he tapped his chest, having enjoyed his meal and laying back. Luffy stood before them with six pieces of giant chicken legs. Hey, Sanji, that melon you were eating, was there something on it? And Solo noticed what Luffy had in his hands. What's with all the meat? And he took a sip from his beer. Yeah, it was prosciutto and fresh ham. Prosciutto and melon? Dude, where'd you get that? I don't know. The place is one big party. Now, where did I get it? I'll go look around. Luffy walked away with his handful full of meat. All he does is eat. And Zolo took another sip of his beer. I've had my fill of food. Good mental. Now I'm gonna find me a girl. Sanji got up and ran off with hearts following him all over the place. And Zolo immediately passed out and went into nap mode. Wrong. Meanwhile, Usopp stood on top of a tower of tables with a bullhorn in his hand and screamed out, "And that's how I brought down the fishmen! Hooray!" The crowd screamed out, "I'm Captain Usopp! Now I'm gonna sing! Give me your autograph! Show us your boobs! Give us your shirt!" And meanwhile, back at Belmir's gravesite, Genzo stood with a bottle of liquor in hand. He approached the tombstone, and he poured it over. Belmir, your daughters have grown into wonderful, strong young women. Looking at them is almost like seeing you alive again. From now on, he said with a smile on his face, We're going to make the most of our lives. There have been so many sacrifices. So it's time for us to live our lives to the fullest and laugh like fools again. And suddenly, a strange voice, a familiar voice screamed out and interrupted him. Prosciutto and ham, dude. Huh? Oh, there's no food here. I'm going back. As Luffy turned around and walked back down the path, Gento screamed out, Hold it, kid. When Luffy turned around, he noticed where Gento was standing at. It's a grave, dude. Somebody died. Yeah, you idiot. Somebody died. A long time ago. Well, in that case, please accept my condolences. Huh? Accept my condolences, my congoleases, my condolences, condolences. Dude, it's condolences. Yeah, that dude. Listen, kid. Nami's going to sail off with you pirates. It will be a dangerous voyage. But if you guys do anything to make her unhappy, I'll kill you. Huh? I want to do. Do you understand, boy? And Luffy stood quiet. He stopped chewing his food. And it got into his thick head. I understand. Nojiko sat, let me see, what did I give? There we go. Nojiko, sat next to Chabo.
You're no fun.
What do you mean?
I thought you'd be upset because you didn't, because this time you didn't happen, because this didn't happen in time to save your father.
I thought that at first. Then I realized regrets are a waste of time, Chabo said as he stared at the corn. The corn? That's corn? Yeah, as he stared at the corn. I did not get to avenge my father. They did not prepare to die.
Cheeky boy.
Ow, why are you pinching me? What did I do?
I was all set to pick on you again. You're doing a good job already.
You're doing a good job already, tattooed mini. Now you will prepare to die.
Being a minnie's a fine by me.
Nojiko smiled. Meanwhile, as the party continued on in the distance, Nami spoke.
Oh, will it be completely gone?
Not completely. You'll always have your scar. That's how it is with tattoos. Nami was laying face first. The tattoo that Arlong's tattoo was removed, but left a nasty scar on at left shoulder.
It'll never be completely gone.
And she remembered. She remembered when she was 10, the first time she received that tattoo, crying from the pain of what Arlong had done after having kidnapped her.
I don't want anyone to see my tattoo. I'm not one of them, but not have been put under the pirate.
She said to Nojiko, and Nojiko, resisting tears, replied,
Nami.
And Nami lifted her head up, as her memories continued on.
Nojiko, you got the tattoo. So what? It's nothing, it's just a decoration.
She showed with a big smile on her face.
I'm just like you, Nami. Oh, but...
Nami smiled despite the tear falling down her cheek.
Doctor,
Nami said,
I want you to give me this tattoo.
Huh?
Yeah.
She smiled as she presented a sheet of paper. The party continued on as Johnny and Yosaku danced away. Those two sure could dance. Song number 6, Usopp's chair. Usopp screamed out from the top of the table tower, and it continued on as the sun slowly rised and made the night disappear. It was now the morning of departure. The merry goat was stocked, loaded, and ready for sail. Johnny and Yosaku stood before the ship, unboarded. Yosaku spoke. We're going back to being Humpty Hunters. Thanks for everything, Luffy.
We'll say goodbye here,
Johnny said.
We hope we meet again someday. Yay!
Okay, you guys. You take care. Make your dreams come true. Be righteous. You too, Brother Luffy.
Oh, she's not here yet.
Maybe she's not coming.
Nami's not coming! Why not?
Sanji yelled at Luffy as the captain pointed back. You, there wasn't any prosciutto anywhere, dude. What? She's going to leave all the money? All 100 million berries? Genzo said. She can't travel without money. Besides, she risked her life for it.
She says it's okay. She'll just steal more money. She's a pirate now. I told her to at least take a little money, but once she made up her mind, she won't budge.
That fool. We're the ones who owe her. Uh-oh.
Ah, set sail now!
Nami screamed out. Huh? Nami? And there she was, running at high speed through the streets of the town.
She started running. What's she up to?
She said set sail, dude. So let's do it. Whatever she's doing, it must be crazy. Hurry up. Man your battle stations.
Don't tell me she's going to leave.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, she took something. Oh my gosh. If she's doing that, I mean she took something from the town. Oh man, that's hilarious. just like when she was a kid and she stole the book. Oh my gosh. What did she do? What did she do? Oh man.
Don't tell me she's going to leave us without giving us a chance to thank her.
No, right. Raise the sails, dude. And Nami sprinted so quickly.
Stop, Nami. Let us thank you properly. Hey, they're sailing. But we wanted to thank you guys one more time.
Wait, Nami. You can't just leave us like this, Genzo screamed out.
Are you sure we should let her do this?
She should leave the way she wants to, dude.
Nami! Nami!
And she took one big leap over the large gap.
Why?
And she landed with a new set of shoes. Ooh. And everybody reached out screaming, huh? And that's when she lifted her shirt and things fell out of her, and things fell into the ground.
Hey, my wallet's gone. Mine too, so it's mine and mine. Mine is gone too. Ah, take care of everybody.
She looked back with a smile as she held the berry in her hand.
Hee hee.
Freaking pickpocket, man. She's back to her childish ways. Why you?
She tricked us!
The townspeople screamed out.
She hasn't changed one bit.
She double-crossed us again. Way to go, Nami! Ha 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 ha! Righteous!
You thieving cat, come back here. Give us back our wallets. Ha ha! Troublemaker, come back soon. Take care. We're really grateful to you all. Ah, Belmia, I'm off.
Nami thought to herself as Luffy looked back at Genzo, and he heard him scream out, "Hey kid, don't forget your promise." They both nodded, and Luffy let out a thumbs up.
Ah, bye everyone. I'll be back.
She screamed out with a big smile on her face, and the weight of all that was put on her shoulders removed for good. Everybody waved goodbye from the beach as they watched the Merry Ghost set sail out into the open sea.
She got us,
Nojiko said.
That sister of mine is something. Have fun, Nami.
Look at this, Mr. Genzo. Oh, look at this, Mr. Genzo, huh? What's this, Doctor? She had this tattooed done. What is this symbol? It's a tangerine and a pinwheel, she said.
Huh? Mr. Genzo, where's your pinwheel?
Mr. Genzo smiled. Huh? I won't be needing it anymore. And Mr. Genzo remembered the first time he saw the girls.
Ah, Mr. Genzo, don't come near Nami.
Let's see here. Oh, no, hold it. Mm. Did I? I never gave Belmere her voice, huh? A proper voice. Anyway, I just want to see her smile.
You make her cry because you look scared.
But what can I do about it? How's this? This'll make her laugh, won't it? He stuck a pinwheel on his hat and let it spin around. I'll wear it from now on. Come on, laugh for me, Nami.
Mr. Genzo, a minute was not going to.
Not the baby Nami laughed out loud. The skies are clear and the winds are fair. Hey, she's laughing. And the pinwheel merrily spin on Belmere's grave with a tangerine on the side as the merry ghost disappeared into the horizon and into the deep blue sea. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Let me tell you something. If One Piece was ever to have been canceled or have been stopped, this was the perfect place to do it. What an amazing ending to this arc. This feels like an ending to a whole entire story. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole entire franchise. What a great arc. This was such a well executed storytelling. Man, like how many chapters have I gone through with Arlong Park? Like 20. This was a very, very long arc, and let me tell you something. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was wasted. This was quite possibly one of the most beautiful arcs I've ever read in any manga, and I've read a lot of manga. This is phenomenal. I would if I were to do a tier ranking. If I were to do a tier ranking, this would get an S rank. You know what I'm saying? I would put that on the S tier. Like everybody had a reason for not being in the fight, because logically speaking, you would want everybody to fight, all at once, like gang up. But everything made perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? Everything made perfect sense as to why everybody was out of the fight, and it became 1v1. Sometimes you get those anime fights or manga fights where you're watching the main character fighting and his friends are all 100% fine, no injuries or anything. You're like, why aren't you jumping in and helping out? You know what I mean? But here in this instance, everybody had a reason for not being in the fight, and it makes perfect sense. And Oda-san was able to focus all of his panels on Luffy versus Arlong without any trouble at all. And it was great. It was fantastic. The fighting between Arlong and Luffy was very seamless. Like, just look at how well executed this was. He's chopping in, and then we cut to the next panel, and we see the different ways Luffy was dodging each of his tooth attacks. And then we get the next panel where we see Luffy now winding up for his attack, and when we go on to the next page, bam! You know what I'm saying? He delivers the kick. It's very smooth, and we see the topple. It's great, to actually exploit the motion and actions of the attacks like that, and it really makes the action more impactful. Like, I really can feel the impact of the hit and the impact of the post hit, and seeing the result of it, which is great, which is that he dropped one of the teeth, and Luffy in his most dumbest moments, puts the teeth on, not knowing if that thing's diseased or anything. But the fight with Arlong is some of the most inventive attacks I've ever seen. Like, it's the level of creativeness that came out of this fight is so remarkable. I mean, my man came in with a literally did like a dart. He pulled off the planking. Here we go. My man planked attack. This was a plank attack. That's not a dart attack. That's a plank. He planked Luffy. He's been planking him hard. He's just planking him. That's it. It's the killer plank attack. The shark darts. It really shows that let's see here. Like Luffy had to figure out how to get around this whole thing, and what he did to get around it was pretty clever. I'm really loving that Oda has been coming up with inventive ways to utilize Luffy's rubber. Like, Luffy could have just easily done like Mr. Fantastic and had him widen out his whole body. Instead, he does this with the face. He does this with his hands. Just look at this. He's just like stretching it out. I thought that he was gonna do. I had no idea what he was gonna do. Quite honestly, I thought I had an idea, but I didn't. But stretching his fingers out like that was not it. And the fact that he was able to clutch it like this, and you can see the fingers right there, saying stretched out like this. They're stretched out like this so that his nose actually slipped through, and he was able to push him back and went into the whole thing. Cause then he flicked himself off. Right, he flicked himself off because he's right up there. Hence the boing. Pretty freaking amazing. I enjoyed this fight, and then he again without hesitation delivers another strike, which was the spear. That's the other thing that I'm enjoying is that there's none of this pause. You know what I'm saying? There's no pausing in the fights going on. They like throw a couple punches then they stop. You know what I'm saying? Like Dragon Ball does that a lot. A lot of shonen does that a lot, but here the fight just keeps going. It's just relentless. Eventually they'll stop because they got to catch their breath. But I'm just liking that it's not one punch. You know what I'm saying? Or a flurry of punches, in order, and then they just stop and pause at every moment. Here, they're pulling off a whole lot of sequence of attacks, counterattacks, and maneuvering. And I like that. All before they actually legitimately pause on the whole thing. And, Monkey D. Luffy himself doing all kinds of silly stuff while Arlong is pulling off some crazy moves like this cartwheel attack with his saw blade. He's like spinning, and that's when we finally get to quite possibly one of the most tragic parts in the whole thing, and we finally get to see it, and that's Nami's room. We actually get to see her room, and the sad thing is how Luffy took the pen and there was blood, saying Nami's blood that on that thing, like she was bleeding, her fingers were bleeding, and you could really see that Arlong, you could really see the depths of Arlong's cruelty. He kidnaps a 10-year-old child, physically kidnaps her, by the hand, drags her out, with the threat of threatening the town with death. And he torments this little girl, forces a tattoo. Like he mutilated her body with that tattoo, and then mutilated her even more with this whole room. It's just very cruel. And the live action really did honestly a very good job elaborating on the whole thing. They did a good job, elaborating, going to more depth of how the abuse was going on. I just wish that it wasn't that Nami didn't volunteer. I really wish she didn't volunteer in the live action. I wish that she was kidnapped. It made more sense that she was kidnapped, storytelling wise. But they chose to go with the trope of I didn't know that you were doing this as a plan. I completely misunderstood you trope. While horrifying as it is, it's like you made a 10-year-old child make a decision that she is incapable of, that she didn't understand. My brain still can't wrap around why they went that decision in the story writing. Honestly, I can't figure that one out. why they went that route in terms of storytelling as a trope. This was actually fine, saying that Arlong physically kidnapped a 10-year-old child, mutilated her left shoulder with his tattoo at such a young age, and then tormented her physically and emotionally, psychologically with this nasty little room he built for her. That was just some next level stuff. And let me tell you something. Great depiction, great artwork here showing Luffy's anger. Kept it very simple. Kept it very simple with the lines. The eyes said it all. No bulging fangs. Okay, well, you got the bulging fang on the hand there, but that's actually different from the bulging fangs we normally would see, where where it would be on the thing here showing anger. Instead, the vein is just showing that he's putting in a lot of strength to it. But here we just see scowl, angry eyes, and it is a great depiction of it. And this is now, Luffy, despite all of his goofiness and everything, his brain just switched on to a more serious mode. It's like, you really effed up, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he puts down Nami's pen with all of her bloodstains on it. It's just horrible, you know what I'm saying? And boy, this is not the Luffy I want to confront. I do not want to confront Luffy like this. That's scary, because what he does next is just insane. It's very insane and very beautiful, quite honestly, for very beautiful regarding Nami. Because he breaks pieces of the sword up. Like freaking Arlong justifying every which way he could, on why he values Nami, and that's what's disturbing about it, because in this sequence here, he's trying. It's not so much that he's trying to justify; he's trying to value Nami. That's actually even more cruel when you think about it. That's even more villainous, because he's valuing her. He's not belittling her. He's not saying that she's lesser for him. He's saying he's valuing what she brought to the table. But it's so evil in the way he's presenting it because of what he has done to her. And that's one hell of a villain design. To be able to have a villain talk like that about a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's looking at Luffy, he's saying, you're scum, you're less, you're inferior to me. But with Nami, he's like, she's a freaking genius, and I'm not going to lose her. I value her genius, and I'm going to give her the world, despite what I've done to her. Any villain who does that is an amazing villain. You know what I'm saying? Any villain depicted like that is an amazing villain, and a very well-built villain, and it just makes the defeat even more cherishable. You know what I'm saying? Like, we revel in his defeat and watching how he falls and everything. And what an epic fall he was delivered by, that Luffy delivered onto him. And then he calls her shipmates. Like, it's like, I value her as a shipmate. But you kidnapped her, you mutilated her body, you threatened her family, you killed a member of her family, you made her... You made her, draw charts. You smashed her face into the desk if she when she did something wrong. Her fingers bled into that pen. Yeah, everything that Luffy did was just epic, man. That was catharsis. The first thing he kicked out was that desk, and holy mackerel! From that point forward, Luffy became epic beyond anything imaginable. He didn't care about Arlong. He didn't see Arlong as an enemy anymore. He didn't see Arlong as an enemy. He just saw the room as the enemy. The true enemy. The true enemy of Nami. The true enemy of everything. The island. Everything. He didn't care about Arlong. What a statement to make. What a statement to make. He just saw all those charts, everything as an enemy. He didn't care anymore about Arlong. He wanted to destroy that room. That room was the enemy. And he emphasized that in the whole thing. And I feel like that's lost in the live action. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something very significant, especially when they show the flashbacks of Arlong, bringing her to the room and presenting her all the tools she needs to make his charts, and then here he is smashing her head in. Like, holy mackerel, man! He smashed a 10-year-old child's head into the freaking into the freaking desk just because she was trying to cheat him. She was trying to fool him. Left her all beaten and everything. And it would have been fine. I think they should have shown that. I think all this should have been in the live action, quite honestly. Not just destroying the pillars and breaking the whole thing down. No, this room should have been in there. I mean, yeah, he was in the room. Yeah, but I mean like the condensed room, and him knocking the furniture out through the walls. This should have been in the live action. I know I hate comparing the live action, but it's kind of interesting seeing how they did the adaptations. And I think that the small room and him destroying the stuff out of the walls, even, and no matter how absurd it is actually way more impactful than just knocking the pillars down and causing the whole thing to collapse. But they still got the point across. I just felt that by comparison, this is more impactful. This is way more impactful and more meaningful than just destroying a bunch of pillars and causing the building to collapse. But I guess fair call, fair say. It might have been the budget. You know what I'm saying? Because it is season one. It's never been done before. Actually adapting the manga into a true live action with all the special effects and everything. So I'm willing to chalk it up to budgetary issues and you know what I'm saying, and trying to condense so many chapters. I mean, this is 100 chapters. I mean, not for nothing, but this is it. I'm done with season one of the live action. I just realized now that I think about it, this is the end of season one live action that I'm watching. Now I'm going all much like Luffy, has his crew and they're off to a whole new adventure. I'm doing that in the manga now, which is pretty awesome, quite honestly. But but I can understand many reasons being that it's live action. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still of the opinion that this condensed room and Luffy throwing the furniture out and making the sea charts fly into the air, I think that would have been more impactful than what they depict in the live action. But it's still got its point across. I just wanted a little bit more impact, a little bit more meaning. What I felt from here in the manga, I didn't get that in live action. Saying live action was like, yeah, that's cool. He's tearing the whole thing down. Here I was like, yeah, man, this is a freaking monster. Get all of this destroyed, man. Get all this destroyed. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference of grabbing the emotional weight, the gravity of the whole situation here. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't even. I don't think we even get this. I don't know if that happened in the live action. This panel here, where she covers her mouth. We know. I know that we got this particular panel when Luffy said, I will help you, you know what I'm saying, in the Grove. But I think this would have been much better. Her watching all of her pain and torment being destroyed by Luffy, you know what I'm saying. That I think that would have been much better. But we still got that panel, but only when Luffy put the hat on her head and said, "Of course I will," which is still good. It's still good. It's still good. But this had a lot more contextual meaning with what's happening here than in the live action. So yeah, the live action I still enjoyed and everything. Don't get me wrong. The difference is just it's just that they're very obvious story wise and how the context is changed. But ultimately, Luffy beats Arlong the most epic way possible, which we did get in the live action, which is pretty cool. And that was the battle axe, epic battle axe, and just completely destroyed him. It's pretty cool. Most importantly, what's cool about it is that we saw just how much of a strain he put into the battle axe. Like he really put all the power into it. But what's great is that it shows that it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? When he was going all out on the attack, this was not easy for him to do, and he was able to put all his might into it. Like really showed all of his power, and it's pretty solid. All things considered, it was pretty solid that we got to see Luffy at his most push to limit here, and of course the whole thing collapses. You know, Along Park is gone. I like that. That's pretty cool. Nice splash page. Very excellent splash page. Cross two pages. Um, this actually really gives a good look. But I'm sure that with the binders, the binding, you can't get all of this, like what's happening in the middle and everything, unless you stretch out the book and whatnot. But yeah, victory was achieved, and then the next two chapters was all celebrations and dealing with Nezumi, which was pretty cool. Um, as always, Solo sleeping, waking up. I like this panel. This was a pretty excellent panel here with Luffy towering over the whole thing. Um, this really shows Luffy. Um, I'm not sure how I could describe this. I don't know how to describe it, quite honestly. Um, what's happening here? You know what I mean? Because this is like epic moment. Luffy's not dead or anything. He's just collecting his thoughts, and you know and was very honest and earnest with what he wanted to say when he said, "You're one of us." It's like, yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're done with this crew. You're done with this crew, and Nami's like in tears and everything. And for the rest of this whole panel, for the rest of this chapter, it's just all celebrations. Oh no, that's right. Nezumi shows up. Nezumi shows up. Solo scares the living crap out of him. Took down the Marines. Very easy. But at least Nami got something out of it, and that was taking down Nezumi and sending him into the pool. Which is again catharsis, because that was really messed up what Nezumi did. Like I have no idea what Nezumi was thinking. I know he's evil and everything, but it was good seeing that she got back at him for what he did and got all the money back, and Luffy and the crew made sure that they got the money back. Ultimately, in the end, but now all that buried now belongs to the whole island. It belongs to the island. They get to keep the money, and she gets some of her money back too, which is great. Nezumi runs off like a coward. Nami now lays Belmere to rest. She really did. You know what I'm saying? She finally got to lay her mother to rest after all that. 8 years. Nami went through this for 8 years. So she's 18 basically, because she was 10 when she was kidnapped. So she's an 18-year-old. So there we go. She's 18. She laid her mother to rest. She made it clear that she's still the same Nami she always was. She's gonna get into antics, which we'll see. But yeah, everybody's in reflections. Solo finally got an actual doctor to heal himself. Nezumi calls up puts the bounty on Luffy, which is pretty cool, because I would have to pause the live action to try and see the picture in the live action and see Usopp, because in live action Usopp said he's there, but it's just the back of his head, which is hilarious. I actually get to see that, but I tried my best, but I couldn't see it very well in the live action. Usopp's face on the thing, but I'll have to try again some other time. Luffy with the big smile on his face. Oh, and yes, we finally, after all these chapters, after all this time, we finally got to see the telesnail. This is the first time I'm seeing the telesnail. I didn't see that in the first arc. I might have missed it when they were dealing with Hamelpo and his dad. I probably might have missed that and didn't pay attention. If not, then this is the first time I'm seeing the snail, and that's pretty cool. The telesnail, and yeah, they really do look like the live action. That's pretty cool. You know, I'm sure that freaked a lot of people out who never read the manga. Be like, "What the heck is with this snail?" But yeah, we got the but Luffy finally got himself is now officially a pirate now that he got his wanted poster, and we go through the Coda chapter, which now Nami's officially saying goodbye, just like Usopp and Sanji, did when they said goodbye to their family and friends. Well, primarily friends. Nami's the only one who got to say goodbye to family. Sanji didn't have. Well, they had family in the camaraderie, family in the family sense. But I mean, like, biological family. You know what I'm saying? Usopp didn't have any biological family to say goodbye to. Neither did Sanji. They just had their surrogate families. But Nami actually had a family. Well, no. She had a surrogate family, too. That's true. She had a surrogate family. That just makes it even more insane. Oh, my gosh. Everybody's got a surrogate family. Now that I think about it, everyone has a surrogate family. Nobody has a biological family. Holy mackerel. That's not true. Usopp still has biological family. His dad was Shanks, right? Because they did mention that Luffy did tell him that his dad was Shanks. So yeah, so Usopp still has to find his dad. So he still has his biological family roaming about. So correction. Usopp's dad is with Shanks' crew. Eventually they'll meet up, which I'm sure they're not gonna. Oda would never leave that out. You know what I'm saying? That meetup, that whole meetup. But nevertheless, everybody's celebrating. Genzo himself also, got to have his moment with Bellemere and Bellemere and laid her to rest and let her know that everybody's gonna move on. Meanwhile, Luffy's looking for prosciutto in hand, interrupting the whole thing. Like, my man, read the room. At least Genzo was kind enough, to not only correct him on condolences, but didn't express, but did give him one little warning, and that's if he don't make Nami cry or anything, or he'll kill him. Inigo Montoya himself, Chabo, thank God he got pushed off to the side. No more kids, please. No more kids. Okay, no more of these kids getting involved in these adult battles. I'm very glad, and at least even though he didn't get his retribution like he wanted, he could not get his prepared to die moment. Nojiko is looking out for him, which is good. But thank goodness they got the kids out, because the kids are. It's not so much that they're a distraction in the story. It's that they're unnecessary to the story. They're not adding anything to it. They add nothing to it. It's ridiculous. Nami got the rest of the tattoo cleared out and got herself a new tattoo, which was pretty epic. Of course, in a fun send off, she runs past everybody, pickpockets them, and stole their money. Oh my gosh, that was her. Everybody knows her, so they're not surprised, and they're just happy. But the townspeople is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool smile she got there. She's back. Nami's back. She overcame everything. She don't have to worry anymore. Saying, she's gonna do fine as her and the crew move forward. She got new slippers, whole new gig, whole new shoes, whole new outfit. But nobody really nobody cared, because they know she suffered a lot, and they were still willing to give her the money, so they're like, fine. She's back to her old self, and everybody knows it. But ultimately, they all just cheered her on and told her to take care. You know, they got money though. The whole town's got the money, and and Nojiko compensate, give the money, and give whatever Nami took. She got her starter money. And it was funny too because the town people was like, yeah, we told her to take the money, it's hers. She said she doesn't want all that money, which is smart for her to not take all that money because she's pirating. They see all that money, they're gonna go. Everybody will chase after them for the money. So she was wise not to take the money, not to take the money with her. They would have put a big bullseye on everybody, and that would have disrupted Luffy's plans to get to the Grand Line. Everybody's plans to get to the Grand Line. So she took the money, whatever they got, and happily ever after. Beautiful, beautiful ending here. Beautiful ending with the pinwheel and the tangerine with Belmere. And Genzo remembering why he put on that pinwheel, which was so adorable. That was cute, man. He made Nami smile. He really cared for her. It shows that he really cared for her since infancy. He was, and he really felt ashamed that he didn't do enough to save her when Arlong was kidnapping her. So what a beautiful arc. This was a great arc, and please, I say it 1,000 times. Comment down below and let me know if it gets even better. I don't want this to be peak. I don't want this arc to be the peak, and then the next arcs are like. There's a reason why Oda-san lasted 20 years, and this arc really, really showed Oda's true, depth of storytelling skills and world building and everything in between. Oh my gosh. And I love that it ended at this point. I'm glad. Because that means that the next set of chapters, we're going into a whole new adventure as I head into chapter 100. As I head towards chapter 100, which is the next set of chapters, and very big because 100 chapters. Oh my gosh, I started last year. I started this last year and got to 100 chapters. I'm gonna be at 100 chapters on the next set. What a big deal this is. So I don't think I'm gonna do any big surprises or any big things, but I think maybe I'll give a review of the first 100 chapters. I think that'll be a good call on that one. Make it a big review. And share my thoughts. I think that's a good idea. So I gotta, and most importantly too, another most importantly thing too is that now I got past season 1 of live action One Piece. That I'm gonna actually let you. I definitely will save that for the next set too, because that's actually a big deal as well. Because that means that now moving forward, I have no idea what's to come. I caught up with the Shonen Jump, the pages of Shonen Jump that I read 20 years ago. I caught up with the live action, and the Shonen Jump wasn't even that many chapters either. That was like the whole beginning of Long Shang, where Shang's lost his arm and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then I watched the live action, which got to Arlong Park, and now I got past that. So moving forward, everybody, it's going to be the first time I'm going to see every single chapter of One Piece. It is going to be first time reaction. This is going to be a first time reaction, no knowledge. I don't know any characters beyond what I've seen here. And some dude that was at the end of the live action, creating. I don't know. He took the ending teaser. He just started burning with a cigarette or something. I don't know. But what I do know is that I have no idea. And you're going to be joining me on my first time reaction of One Piece. Moving forward, that's why I'm very happy with that this ending timed the way it did. You know what I'm saying? That lined up nicely because, man, I can't wait. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be fun. Dude, this is going to be righteous. I have no idea what to expect. All I know is that all everybody keeps talking about is Gear 5. I have no idea what Gear 5 is. I didn't look it up. I didn't look at it. All I know is that all the One Piece fans like Gear 5, Gear 5, Gear 5. Don't tell me what that is. Please, for the love of God, don't not comment. Tell me what Gear 5 is. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there after we find out what happens after 100 chapters. So, woo! Get ready for a big next set of chapters, everybody. Get ready for another big set of chapters. It's going to be a big celebration. So, comment, like, subscribe, follow, you know you want to, and head on over to Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com and grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, a strange fantasy novel written by me in book form, available right now. The links are down in the descriptions below. Please check them out, along with other links to merch such as t-shirts, pins, stickers, music. Please enjoy yourselves. Thank you for your patronage. And if you're interested in volunteering for Patreon, it is available at any time you want. Knock yourself out if you like and have fun. And if you want to catch all of this live and in the raw, head on over to my Twitch and Kick channel. Live multi-stream Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There we go. I look forward to your viewerships and your patronage. Thank you very much for all your support. And until the next set of chapters, I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.